Section 16, Broker Supervision, Arizona Market Introduction. From agent negligence to broker responsibility. In Section 14, we looked at negligence, misrepresentation, fraud, and legal hotline examples where small mistakes created big liability. Now we move to the person responsible for supervising the system, the broker. In Arizona, real estate activity is conducted through the broker. That means broker supervision is not just a title, it is a legal responsibility. When an agent mishandles earnest money, fails to disclose, uses improper advertising, or allows unauthorized possession, the broker may also face questions about whether reasonable supervision was provided. Why broker supervision matters. A common violation occurs when a salesperson breaks a statute and the investigation finds that the broker should have had better systems in place. Examples include failing to deposit earnest money correctly, failing to get client consent, failing to maintain proper records, improper advertising, or allowing unlicensed activity. The issue is not only what the agent did. The issue is whether the broker had policies, training, review systems, and enforcement in place. The core rule, R428-1103. Under R428-1103, an employing broker and designated broker must exercise reasonable supervision and control over the activities of brokers, salespersons, and others employed by the broker. Reasonable supervision includes written policies, procedures, and systems for reviewing transactions, managing contracts and disclosure forms, handling trust funds, supervising unlicensed assistants, reviewing advertising, and making sure agents understand federal, state, and local laws. The story, the file that told on everyone. Imagine an agent accepts earnest money from a buyer and forgets to deliver it properly. The transaction closes, but later a complaint is filed. ADRE reviews the file and asks the broker, "What system did you have to prevent this?" If the broker says, "I trusted my agents," that may not be enough. A good broker should have written policies, file review procedures, transaction checklists, training, and documentation showing that agents were instructed on how earnest money must be handled. Broker review and document control. Broker supervision includes reviewing and managing transactions requiring a real estate license. This includes contracts, disclosure forms, employment agreements, and documents that may materially affect the rights or obligations of a party. Best practice: if a document affects the transaction, it should be reviewed, stored, and maintained in the broker's system. Advertising and marketing oversight. Broker supervision also includes reviewing and inspecting advertising and marketing by the broker, salespersons, associate brokers, and others employed by the broker. This ties back to our advertising sections. Social media posts, flyers, videos, AI images, open house posts, and team branding can all create broker risk if not monitored. Unlicensed activity, ARS Section 32 to 2121, describes activities that generally require a real estate license, including selling, leasing, negotiating, listing, collecting rent, advertising real estate services, procuring prospects, and assisting in negotiations. This matters because brokers must supervise not only licensees, but also the use of unlicensed assistants. An assistant may help with administrative tasks, but they cannot cross into licensed activity. Possession before closing. A salesperson or broker cannot permit or facilitate occupancy by a third party without prior written authorization from the owner. They also cannot deliver possession before closing unless expressly instructed by the owner. The broker should have clear policies on pre-possession and post-possession because these situations can create insurance, legal, tax, and liability problems. Compensation disclosure, R428-701, requires a real estate broker to disclose to all parties in writing before closing the name of each employing broker representing a party who will receive compensation from the transaction. Compensation must be transparent. Hidden compensation, referral arrangements, or unclear payment relationships can create compliance problems. The broker cannot fully delegate responsibility. A designated broker may use employees to help administer supervision systems, but the broker cannot give away overall responsibility. The broker remains responsible for supervision and control. If the broker learns of a violation by a salesperson or associate broker and immediately reports it to ADRE, the broker may not be subject to discipline for failure to supervise that licensee. Closing thought. Broker supervision is the backbone of compliance. Good brokers do not wait for problems. They build systems that prevent problems. If Section 14 showed us how agent negligence creates risk, Section 16 shows us how broker supervision reduces that risk through policies, training, review, documentation, and accountability. Online discussion question 1. Why is broker supervision more than simply answering agent questions? Answer. Because Arizona rules require brokers to establish and enforce written policies, procedures, and systems for transactions, documents, trust funds, advertising, unlicensed assistance, and compliance. Question 2. Why can unlicensed assistants create risk for a brokerage? Answer. Because assistants may perform administrative tasks, but they cannot perform activities that require a real estate license, such as negotiating, procuring prospects, or representing clients. Question 3. Why should brokers monitor advertising and marketing? Answer. Because advertising by agents, teams, and employees can mislead the public or violate ADRE rules, creating risk for both the agent and broker.